Happy 4th of July celebrations. I love this week. I love the whole week of celebrating the 4th of July and our freedoms. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but I need to share something with you I really need to have a big spotlight on. Not everybody's freedoms and constitutional rights are being upheld in this country, unfortunately. And so, although we are celebrating and we have a reason and a right to celebrate our freedoms in this beautiful country we live in, I'm asking you to take a couple of minutes and listen to the story that I'm about to tell you, because these evils that are going on in our court systems or with Child Protective Services or with the police or those agencies that are supposed to be protecting we are the people, when they are not exposed, they fester. And I'm coming from a lot of law enforcement background. I'm coming from a victim advocate's perspective. I've helped with a lot of cases. I used to argue that the system was clean and pure and set up correctly until I actually dug in and saw some of the things, the corruption that's happened and the people that are being victimized by it. So I'm asking you to just listen to the story. I know some of you will keep scrolling. They don't want to hear it. Some people might not believe it, or some people might say, hey, that's sad. There's nothing I can do. There are things you can do. First, you can share this message, because the more people that find out about it, the more of a spotlight it gets, and people come up out of the woodworks. I've worked on cases where we've had advocates come up from different states. We've had legal help. The more exposure, the better. We have to have strength in numbers, people. Please share this. If you're a Christian, please pray. If those of you who have some financial capabilities want to throw in $10 or $20 or more, and I'll explain what the situation is financially right now, that this poor mother that's being held from her baby, the baby was taken from her illegally. She was falsely imprisoned, and she needs all the help that she can get. She has fought her case diligently, courageously, on her own, pro se. She's won custody of her child pending visitations, unification visitations, which she is not being given right now. And I'll get into those details. But please, please take a minute to listen to this and share it. I've worked on a lot of these cases. I do my due diligence. I dig into it. I don't just take other people's words for it. So a lot of this stuff I've either seen myself, I've read documents, I've gone through the court's appeals and filings and everything. So this is not just hearsay. The mother's big mistake was getting with the wrong guy. So this couple had a baby together. Dad's got criminal charges. He's been in trouble off and on for a while. Long story short, I won't get into all the details, but basically he got charged for some things that he was guilty for. He got charged with those things. Mom also got arrested. There was no warrant. There was no Miranda rights read. Her 4-month-old baby, whom she was nursing when the police showed up, they took him from her and gave the baby to the dad's family member while she served 93 days in jail for nothing. She was charged with nothing and released. Okay. A few days after she had been in the jail in Utah, somebody called her claiming to be the guardian ad litem of the child. Now, if you don't know what a guardian ad litem is, and it's usually assigned when there's a hairy court case or a custody case and mom and dad can't get along, they will assign a attorney just to speak for the child. So he said he was the guardian ad litem, and he wanted to know if she wanted to give up her rights to the child. She says, absolutely not. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm going to get out of here. She claims that he laughed at her and said, you better take my number down. So I got involved. I don't do victim advocate work when I can help it. It's really hard. It's really strenuous in every way. But I get brought into these cases every once in a while when they're kind of hairy and people don't know what to do. So I came in and started studying things, and I was very, very concerned. I was talking to people that were direct to father, and I literally, without getting into a lot of detail, I was worried about satanic involvement from dad's family. And so the first person that I talked to about it was the supposed guardian ad litem. I got the number from the advocate, and I called up, told him who I was, what my background was. He also alluded that he was the guardian ad litem. He also admitted to me, I told him the things I was worried about. He said that there was no problem there. He did not report it as he was supposed to, not to the police or Child Protective Services. I found out later. And he told me a bunch of falsehoods against the mother, and the child was being neglected, and the baby was in a good place and should be there, and yada yada. Now, at the time, he also admitted to me that he was related to the guardian mother and also the father. And I says, how is that not a conflict of interest? In the state of Utah, that would be considered a conflict of interest. And he yim-yawed around about it, alluded to the fact that's just how it was in Wyoming. Now I look back, I think he was telling me out of transparency at the time. And now I think it was just to basically tell me, there's nothing you're going to do about this. And he told me a lot of lies about the mother because, this is what happens in these court cases. They try to get the advocates to back down, and so that the protective parent has no support. Fast forward, mom gets out of jail. She's been fighting for her child ever since. I am absolutely amazed with how much legal work she's done. She's studied things, filed every single filing that she's done on her own. She's very thorough. I'm so impressed. Now lives in Nebraska with a friend. She came to Wyoming for this court case, which, by the way, was in a criminal court. Don't ask me why. This should be in a family court. Why it was in a criminal court, I have no idea. So she went through this nasty battle by herself. They brought up all kinds of things. They lied about her in court, just completely attacked her. Let me just interject a very crucial part of this story. The guardian ad litem that he presented himself to the mother as the guardian ad litem when she'd been in jail a couple days. And when I called in, told him I'm former law enforcement, I've been a victim advocate, I was helping with this case. He also alluded that he was the guardian ad litem to me, and he knew that's why I was calling, because I said, I understand you're the guardian ad litem, and I told him all this stuff under the pretenses that he was guardian ad litem. Guess what? The sucker lied. He was not the guardian ad litem. He was the attorney for the guardian parents who he was related to, and also related to the father. He is a guardian ad litem, but he was never assigned to this case. A guardian ad litem has to be assigned by a judge, which he was not. This is absolutely despicable, and it should be criminal. In the court case, they found that this foster parent, these guardian parents, had changed the name of the baby, got a birth certificate and a social security card illegally, took the baby to a different doctor than what he'd been seen before, got him vaccinated against the parents' wishes. They wanted to decide which vaccines that the child got and which ones he didn't. They did all this illegally, which was brought up in court, and nothing happened to this guardian family. I'm just dealing with this. We found out there are several family members. They're all related to dad, and they're all related to the foster or the guardian parents. And the guardian ad litem. They have, I think his wife and his son work at the same courthouse. I mean, this is all being heavily manipulated, in my opinion. This is legal child trafficking, in my opinion, because it's being done by the courts. So she did get custody of her baby. The judge did not have the right to keep this child from her. She got custody pending reunification visits. They are withholding that from her. Now, let me clarify here, because I'll say, oh, that's not true. But, she has the right to visit. They put this attorney, the ethical attorney, in charge of doing those visits, of coordinating the visits. They said, the judge said it could be done in a neutral place or where the babies, or at the guardian family home, which, by the way, they were stripped of their guardianship. They have no legal rights to this child at all. They came back later and said, okay, they have a right to hold the baby until the reunification happens, but they don't have any legal rights to this child. So they were supposed to give her a visit at a certain time. It went like a week or so over. She had to fight for that. They refused to do it in a neutral place. They would not do it in the park across from where they lived at. They made the mother come there. She is an hour away. She's staying in a hotel room. She's been there since April, paying for a hotel room every single night, which, of course, she's run out of money a long time ago. All of us are pitching in, trying to help her. But it's an hour away. So she either has to Uber, which is, $130, $150, something like that, or she was able to find a Good Samaritan that drove her an hour there and an hour back. He is somebody from the community. The family knows him. He's well respected. They refused to let him in. They said that she had to visit by herself. Now, there was no stipulations on these guardian parents. They had other adults there. The mother was afraid to go in, whether they were going to hurt her because they lied and perjured themselves in court, or they were going to say that she did something or something had happened. It would be her word against theirs. So she fought like crazy to try to get a neutral place, try to get somebody there. The only time she was given a visit was that me and my law enforcement background, I was able to call. She scheduled the visit and I was able to call for a keeping of the peace officer that showed up. This officer wasn't very happy about it, was not very nice, said she wouldn't do it again because it was a criminal case, which makes, it was in a criminal court, which makes no sense. A court order is a court order. They're supposed to be, those keeping of the peace are supposed to happen when needed based off a court order. So I'm telling you, there's so much cooperation, there's so much corruption, in my opinion, in this whole thing. So now she has been begging for visits. She's even agreed to go by herself, because if she doesn't visit, if she doesn't get those reunification times, which she's supposed to have certain hours, she's supposed to be able to take them overnight at some point. They just kick the can down the road, won't give her visit. She begs and begs for a week before they'll tell her she's going to have a visit. And then they've stipulated it so much. She can't have a phone. She can't have anybody with her. She can't have any recording device, yada, yada, which again, she's just walking into the lion's den with that. But she's agreed to do that, and they're still not letting her visit. She's got this case into the Supreme Court. She's waiting for it to be seen. Here's the caveat, and here's where we're asking for help. They have her, if she leaves the state, she's going to get charged for abandonment, because she has custody of that baby, and pending the reunification, if she leaves, it's abandonment. And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're trying to exhaust her. They're trying to get her to leave her baby there and say, oh, well, she had a chance. She didn't take him. And so, she needs your prayers. If anybody can help out with money, I'm not putting the details. You can DM me and I'll tell you. They have an account set up for her where people are just throwing 10, 20, 30 bucks, whatever you can help out with, to keep her there. She eats very little. She had a church help her out a little bit, which they've stopped doing. So it is the saddest situation. Again, people, I have been in a lot of these cases, these courts getting involved, breaking our constitutional rights, taking our children from us legally through the courts, but unconstitutional, is going to be something that we're all going to be dealing with at some point or the other. It might not be ourselves or our own families, but people we know, or maybe our grandkids or whatnot. This is just absolutely evil. It shouldn't be happening. And, she needs help. So whether you're a victim advocate, attorney, have any type of resources with some of these advocate groups, please get a hold of me. Let's shine a spotlight on this. Let's try to help this poor mother out to get her baby back. She has been through hell and back. She deserves to have that baby. And the courts need to see that we, the people, are going to stand up for each other and not let these things continue to happen, because it's absolutely criminal.